competitive people get very angry. You thought you were high on your mountain making 200,000, but somebody making 2 million is looking down at you like a joke. And more isn't bad. More keeps you alive. More keeps you going. I gotta win.
Who's your enemy, Brian?
I can't let him get past me.
Yo, welcome back, guys. You're now listening to the Winners Club podcast. And this podcast really is meant for you guys. We want to give you guys all the business tips, all the insight, the success stories. And ultimately, we really just want to teach you guys how to be a boss in business. So, per usual, we got the number one co-host in the world, PJ Padua, that's me. And also joined by our host, Brian Tran.
Yo, yo, yo.
What's up, Brian? How you doing, man? How you feeling?
Powerful. Got a little bit of a headache, so if I'm a little slow to answering questions, I do apologize. But I'm going to do my best. Let's lock and roll.
Hey, man, we need some juice because this is going to be a good topic, man. It's going to change your life. So let's get into it. So today I really want to talk about something that I believe is the biggest reason why a lot of people don't reach their potential in life. The one thing that's holding them back. I'm definitely a guilty person of doing this too. So I want to talk about the topic of and the idea of thinking you've made it. What is your opinion on that, Brian?
I'm built different, but I think a lot of people I know are built, like this as well. Is that you've never made it? You can never make it.
Yeah,
because you basically got to die.
Yeah.
Basically to make it, right? Like you'll never make it because there will always be.
Yeah.
It's when people realize like, I'm done. It's when they usually die.
Yeah.
When a king stops conquering, it's because they're getting ready to die.
Yeah.
Right? I think that you should be happy with where you are. You should be happy with what you've accomplished. But to say that you've made it basically makes it sound like you're at the top.
Yeah.
But there will always be somebody bigger and better than you. Now, you can be content.
Yeah.
And you can be happy with where you are. But you can't say, I made it.
Yeah.
I
like that. Ultimately, why do you think that people are quick? You see people like 24, 25-year-old, and they're like,
yeah,
I made it. Like, why do you think that happens?
My fear of saying that I've made it is because I don't want to become arrogant and think that I'm at the top.
Yeah.
It's nothing wrong with thinking that you're confident, you're crushing it, but I'm not at the top.
Yeah.
Because I think the moment you do think you're at the top, you're about to come crashing down.
Yeah.
Stay on your path, be clear and true to who you are and what you want to accomplish, and keep it moving. Keep going. And I say this because my dad, for those of you guys who don't know this, he had cancer twice. He beat it the first time.
Yeah.
It came back. But the second time was when he stopped working.
Yeah.
And I think he just started staying home a lot. And I think he lost purpose. Like, what do I do?
Yeah.
And so he stopped working. He stopped using his brain. And that's when, boom.
Yeah.
Cancer caught up. Chemo couldn't help him. None of the drugs under the none of the drugs worked.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of it has to do with that. He stopped. My grandma's 100 and something years old.
Yeah.
She doesn't stop. Now, she slowed down significantly. But even when she was 90, she was probably healthier than most people in their 60s.
Just pushing.
Yeah, we just let her freaking keep gardening. We let her do it all.
She probably had goals, though. She was like,
she's like, yo, I got to go do my thing.
She's like, I want my flowers to grow this high. And it was like a small goal that probably kept her pushing, right? So, thanks for sharing all those stories. That's a little very deep, and I appreciate you for being vulnerable and sharing that, my friend. But what I want to say about all that together that you were saying is it was kind of related back to goals.
Yeah.
Right? It was related to setting, even if it's a little bit further, to set another goal, right? And I think that's where a lot of people do get lost when it's like, oh, I've made it. From the jump, they've set a really small goal for themselves. They put this simple of, I'm going to make 6 figures this year, or I'm going to make 6 figures. And after that, like I made it. That's how I know I made it. You know, when it's something that nowadays is very obtainable.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there who, you know, could probably poop that out, you know, easy, make that happen. So I always think it's you've made so little goals in the beginning.
Yeah.
Is why you're quick to be like, I made it, you know?
I mean, I guess it's okay if you say, look, I made it to my goal.
Yeah.
But but we got to get to the next.
Yeah.
Right? You can't stop.
Yeah. I think that's too, you know, where people, they probably just mix it up between like, I made my goal and I made it. And sometimes you're just like, you know, do you just feel like that guy? You feel like him a little too much. You know what I mean?
You know, it's okay to feel like him.
Yeah.
But you got to realize there's a bigger him.
Yeah. And I think that's super big, guys. I was watching this post. I don't remember what it was, but you know, he was talking about like, I think it was Waka Flocka, and he was talking about climbing this. He made this analogy of like climbing this mountain, right? And when he went on this mountain, once he got to the top, he realized that like it smelled like shit, you know, like there was manure, like there's this and that, and he like realized that he didn't want to be on that mountain, right? That there's bigger and better mountains to climb, right? So I think it's like easy to think that there's only one route to like one mountain of success, but there's multiple out there.
Exactly. So what else, BJ?
All right, let's get into it. So obviously we're talking about and we're having a late start today, guys.
Yeah. My head's a little pounded, but
we'll have John edit that out though.
Yeah, edit that part out.
No, let me go back to it. So we're talking about thinking you've made it, right? But I also want to add too that if you do get to this place and you do think you make it, you're only letting your competitors catch up onto you.
Yeah.
And be able to close a gap and surpass you. So how do you view competition, and how do you use it to benefit, you know, your business or your drive, if you even do so?
I don't know where I heard this from, but I think it was on another podcast where they were like, you have to have an enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Like not somebody that you're actually going to physically fight and kill like the old days, but somebody that's like your driving force, like, oh, hell no. I can't let him get past me. Yeah. You know, I gotta win.
Who's your enemy, Brian?
I don't know. I mean, that's like I said, I had to think of one. I'm like, who's my enemy?
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, I try to collaborate with more people than compete.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes, like, you got to pick some imaginary figure and like, look, I can't let that person catch up to me.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so you constantly push yourself. I don't know. I think it was a Brad Lee and Watson Fit. I think he was like, you got to have an enemy or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe I could be butchering it. And I was like, really? I had to really think about it. But so that's one way to think of it. I don't necessarily agree with that, but collaborate and help each other grow. That's kind of my motto and my organization. Like, rather than competing, most of the time we try to collaborate and grow together.
Mm-hmm.
Because I operate on a mindset of abundance. There's a lot of opportunities and there's a lot of money out there.
Yeah.
So why do we have to fight over the scraps?
Yeah.
Let's go after the big, the big cheese,
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I view on it. And I think you'll live a happier life if you do that. If you live a life, oh no, it actually wasn't Watson Fit. It was like the guy from Vegas or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, going back to it, like if you view it my way, you're going to live a little bit more happier.
Yeah.
Because some people get so competitive and they get angry.
Yeah.
It seems to be the kind of thing. They get like competitive people get very angry.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've heard all this stuff, and I've heard that it works, and I heard in the beginning too, like I think in the beginning, like I think it's healthy as long as you're not hurting nobody. You ain't trying to harass anybody. I think a little competition is good. I think to understand who's your competitors and just to, for me, I've always looked at videographers that are in my area, and I'm like, I see what you're doing. I was like, I'm gonna do something new too, so I could be up there as well. And I'm not gonna let him close the gap on me. I'm gonna be either behind him or I'm gonna be like one step ahead of him.
So my thing, okay, actually, it's a good thing you brought that up because it brought me back to like a different periods of my life.
The dog days.
Okay, so I never looked at them as my competitor.
Yeah.
I just looked at them as a benchmark that I had to surpass.
I like that. Yeah.
And so I was like, so when I was granted a new agent, fresh out of college, my friends were making 60 grand, right? They were, I guess you could say they were my competition.
Yeah.
I didn't want to destroy them, but I just like, man, okay, damn it. I gotta do better than him.
Yeah.
I have to. Yeah. Because I gotta prove to them, like, yo, they went the traditional route. I went this route.
Yeah.
They're probably like, this guy doesn't have a job. I gotta do better.
Yeah.
And for the most part, I did. So that I use that as a driving factor. Like, okay,
do you think it helped a lot, or?
Yeah, because you're like, dude, I'm lazy. Shit, I don't want to work. No, I remember I gotta make more than them. All right, let's go close some deals.
Yeah.
If they're making 60, I'm like, oh damn it. I'll get them next year. Yeah. Because my first year I didn't make 60 grand. Yeah. Like, I'll get them next year. And then obviously, like, when I became a more successful realtor, there were, you go to these events, Tom Ferry, Mike Ferry, and you're like, dang, that guy did 100 units in sales and made $1 million.
Yeah.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
Like, that's okay. Let's go.
Let's turn up.
Light the fire, because I'm like, that guy's no better than me.
Yeah. So it does sound like you do this.
Yeah.
Just recalling from like the situation.
But he's not like he's not a competition. I'm not gonna go out there and like try to take all his clients.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I want to add too. I think the best way to do it is everybody should have friendly competition.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They should have friendly competition. You should be, aggressive the way you play when it comes to trying to keep up with them. But I think at the end of the day, like, I could still go to my videographer, quote unquote, competition and be like, hey, what's up, man? Like, I like your work. It's sick. And I'm being genuine. It's just in my head. Like, I'm just, and I think everybody does that. I mean, probably the biggest players that like, Grant Cardone and Patrick Bet-David, all of them, they have a little some inside them, where they're trying to, they're watching their competition and they think they want to be the best.
But you brought up a good point. And on the other side of this point is dangerous.
Yeah.
I want to talk about that. Because you have to understand, too, that we are all on different paths and we are all on different timelines. Okay? I'll give you the example. If I'm a new realtor starting out, year one, and I set to take down, let's say, the top 1%. Let's just pick Neil Ward.
Okay.
Out in San Francisco. He does like 140-something million, but he sells all the luxury pack heights.
Okay.
And I hold myself to his timeline, his standards, like, oh, I'm going to be as successful as him in 2 years.
Yeah.
I'm setting myself up for disappointment.
Yeah.
Because not that he's better than you.
Yeah.
But he's been doing it for 30 years.
Yeah.
You've been doing it for 2.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to take you 30 years. You may, as long as you put in the work and you follow his footsteps and you follow what he's done, you may be able to do it in 20, which is exceptional, right? Yeah. Because you did it 10 years faster than him.
Yeah.
Because technology got better, social media's out. When he started, there was probably no social media. But that's the thing. You have to know what lane you're in and know that that's the target. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I have to be in his lane and do everything he does, because sometimes that will set you, that will mind fuck you, really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying.
So you have to know and understand the different timelines.
Yeah.
Like, people come in and they're like, I want to be the best flipper. Again, there's always exceptions.
Yeah.
Okay? But you don't want to be the exception. You want to be, I guess they say the rule. You want to be the rule.
Yeah.
Follow the rules. Do the work. Put in the time. Negotiate, work hard, close deals, save money, invest.
Yeah.
And you'll get there too. But to think that you'll get there in a year, or expect, actually that's what it is, but to expect to do it in 2 years when it took them 30, come on.
Yeah. It's a little bit wishful thinking
at that point.
You're
not the next Facebook. You're not the Mark Zuckerberg. I mean, chances are probably not. You're not the next Elon Musk.
Yeah. But yeah, from that point, it seems like more like wishful thinking than being strategic. You know, like you said, 20 years sounds good. Sounds fair. Like 2 years, it's like, okay, buddy, slow down.
And that's the thing. I mean, we're going down a lot, but this is kind of leading to the next subject is, you guys got to slow down to speed up.
Yeah.
and when I mean you guys, just like the listeners out there, like you want to buy the Lambo and the Ferraris and the big house tomorrow. Slow down.
Yeah.
Because the problem is if you're trying to do that, you're trying to keep up with the Joneses, it's actually going to set you back.
Yeah.
Because that money that you could have spent, you know, or the money that you spent on those luxury goods could have went to an investment that would have 10x in 5 years.
Yeah.
And really propelled you.
That's hard.
Right?
Though.
But you were sitting here thinking you were the crap because you were making 200,000. Actually, I'm gonna tie it back.
Yeah.
You thought you were high on your mountain making 200,000, but somebody making 2 million is looking down at you like a joke.
Yeah.
You know?
Damn.
Because you took that 250,000, you leased an S class. You know?
I mean, this is all real stuff, man. Like I'm only laughing because I'm like, damn, like
because
that's
see,
what I
like,
want to
you
do.
see why
Yeah.
I told you not to do it.
No, of course, and I'm very fixated right now on buying like an R8. You know, so for me,
have that goal.
I do have that goal. I wrote it down 2 days ago. I wrote it down, so I'm really pumped on that. But the thing is now, and this is the best part, especially like working with like Brian and everybody in our circle. I'm thinking of like, all right, what's the dollar amount that makes sense? Because I don't think $200,000 like that's that's not gonna make too much sense. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking like maybe like 4x. Like, all right, cool, maybe 3x. But yeah, I think it is really important, guys, that if you're gonna buy things when you have the means to do it. Think about your investments first.
Yep.
Don't just blow into things and like you said, going with the Joneses.
Well, because if you buy $130,000 car, I mean, you're gonna buy a used one, finance it, obviously.
Yeah.
You're probably gonna have to put $30,000 down.
Yep.
Probably actually a little bit more because anything over $100,000 gets harder to finance. So you're probably gonna have to put like, $35,000 to get it under the $100,000, and then your payment's gonna be like $1,800 a month.
Yeah.
That's $1,800 plus the $30,000. So in year one alone, you're looking at almost $20,000 plus the $55,000 out of your pocket.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, and this is where people always mess up. Oh, it's only $55,000.
Yeah.
But what investment could you have made with that $55,000?
I think that's big.
You could have bought a property for $300,000.
That's what I'm thinking.
25% of $200,000, about $225,000.
Yeah, I feel like
that would make you money.
I feel like the leveled up version of me knows that I have to buy an investment property before I buy the R8.
Yeah,
because
I'm gonna be anything. You can invest in other things. I mean, but obviously, you're probably saying real estate because you see me invest in real estate.
Yeah,
a lot, and so it's like, okay, that's what you got to do. You that's what I do, and that's what I can probably teach you how to do it better than stocks.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
But and what I want to do is this story that we had right here in this conversation. This was actually really raw and real, but it ties back into like what you're saying, the mountain, right? Yeah. Like, do I want to be the guy who's like on the medium mountain, or am I trying to be like on the high mountain, right?
Yeah.
The person
would you rather be the top of Mission Peak or halfway to Mount Everest?
Exactly.
The views are different.
Exactly.
Exactly,
bro.
The views are different.
I'm about to be looking at Fremont like, wow,
yeah,
this is nice. When I could be looking at like glaciers and mountains.
So. Yeah. For just make sure you never want to be at the top and if you are at the top, move up.
Yeah.
Be the bottom of the next mountain.
Yeah.
Because that's gonna really push the growth.
Yeah.
And you're also gonna be. I mean, life gets fun at that point. Like you gotta think of life like a game.
Yeah.
Too.
And then it goes back to like you living in for the journey. As corny and cliche as it is, it's like the journeys, right? You made it to the top. There is no journey. So you got to find a new one, find a new journey, right? A new, bigger goal, grander goal. So, I mean, I really like this podcast. I like the way it came out. We're just flying it. So I really do hope you guys got a lot of value in this. We're going to wrap this one up. So please be sure, guys, to give us a 5-star review. Share us to some of your friends that you feel like would get a lot of value in this, because we're going to be the #1 podcast in the world. So thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you on the next.
Peace.
Peace out.